Hi, sorry, I accidentally cut the video. So this is the continuation. So as I was saying, this max is just this max is supposed to be the largest element of the array, which is 5 in this case. Minimum is supposed to be the smallest element of the array, which is 1 in this case. So as I'm comparing minimum and maximum in these if statements, as you can see, I'm just considering the case where max is smaller than the ith element of the numbers array. And same goes for min here. But instead of comparing it to be s- smaller, I'm always considering it min to be larger. So if min is larger than the number ith element of the numbers array, in the next line I'm making it equal to that number to that element, which means the minimum is gradually getting smaller throughout the array, while max is getting larger. So if I output this, it should be 5 and 1. Yeah. Okay, now moving on to break and continue again. So for this, I'll generate just a regular for loop. Okay, so this is an example of where the break and continue, they can both be used here. So in this case, break, I think I mentioned this in the last class, but break is just when during a loop it jumps out of that specific loop. Jumps out means like leaves the loop. So like the loop does not continue after this break statement is used. So if I output this, it will stop around 13. Wait, I forgot to output. So here the order really matters. For 13 to be included as the output, for 13 to be included as the output, this system.out.println should be at line 5 above the if statement. But 13 will not be outputted if it's in line 8 or after the if statement. Because compilers and in programming the compilers do this in order, the compiling process. Yeah, so over here 13 did not get outputted. Now if I put this before, 13 will be outputted. Yeah. So now moving on to the continue. Now moving on to continue. Yeah, so continue just allows us to skip the element, skip a specific element rather than just leave the whole loop. So this example, I'll put the output here. So this example will skip the values 13 and 18 for this example. Okay, so let's check if this is actually true. So when we go to 13, 10, 11, 12, there's no 13. It goes straight to 14. And now when we look at 18, there's no 18, it goes from 17 to 19. So that's how continue works. I'll give another example. Instead of 13, what if we made it 3? And instead of 18, let's make it 8. Now see that now 3 and 8 will not be included in the output, but the loop will not completely break, or the loop will not end immediately once this is used. So there's no 3 as we can see here, and there's no 8. It goes from 7 to 9. There's no 8. Now moving on to the last part, multi-dimensional arrays, or 2D. Multi-dimensional arrays are just like arrays that have rows and columns, not just they don't just have one dimension. They're not 1D. So this is an example of such kind of array. Yeah, so as you can see, this is the structure of a 2D array. So larger the dimension of the array, the structure will increase. There will be more columns and rows. There will be more dimensions to the array, which will increase the complexity of the array, and iterating it will require more loops. So for example, over here, a nested loop is used here. A nested loop is basically just a loop inside of a loop. In this case, four loops are the most optimal for iterating through loops. And as you can see over here, can you guess? This is a slightly tricky question, but can you guess what element in this 2D array will be outputted? If you guessed H, then you're correct. Now the reason for this is that, as I mentioned earlier, this part, it always starts at 0. So that means over here, this examines the row. So the row is just basically this whole section. This whole section, or like this whole section in an array, in a 2D array. While this is the element. So this examines this, so just individual elements. I will remove this for a bit. Observe how H is the output. So anyways, now moving on to this part. So this just outputs. So this just iterates through this array, this 2D array. So the output here will be just all the elements of this array. Yeah. It outputs from A to L, which is the element, which is all the elements I have in this array, in this 2D array. So now let's. I think the issue with with the previous time I did this was because I had the numbers in the wrong order. So actually, this number should be larger than this number always. So that means in this case the output will be F. It's not going to be H. I think. Wait, let me try fix this. So let's see if the output is 7 in this case. Okay, in the comment section I will show why this error occurred. Because currently I'm also not sure on why this error is there. Okay, besides that, thank you for watching the video. I hope you found it informative despite this error over here. Thank you.